guys. Welcome back to my channel, Decolonising Conversations. I just came back from work, so excuse the corporate clothing. So last time we left off at this sort of imbalance that I felt in nature due to my lack of experience and exposure in it. So I wanted to start exploring that feeling, which was the sort of inequality that I had with the rest of my class in aspects of nature. And eventually, my frustration grew to such a point where I came up with this idea of in this speculative world, like in 2050, the climate crisis has gone south, and a sort of Wall-E dystopian situation where there is no nature and everyone has to be indoors. Um, like in a COVID sort of situation, but permanent. And I went and I spoke to people about it, and the only feedback I got was that, what is wrong with you? Are you okay? And I sort of asked myself, why did I come up with this idea? Um, and it was this sort of malicious way of uh, equalizing the world in terms of if you put an Indian person who's like from India, and you see like on all the SDGs in the list, they're at the bottom of happiness, of well-being, of nature, of accessibility to good quality green spaces. Versus if you put someone from a Scandinavian or an American country, which is, or even London or UK, which is usually like developed nations are more on the lists. Like they're doing well, they meet all the criteria. So if you put like someone who's at the bottom of the list versus someone at the top of the list and see the spectrum, they're going to have different experiences. And I wanted people to understand this. That even though we may be on the same plane, the spectrum is completely different. So I guess you can also say like, Anussha, well, that's your story, and it's not like that for everyone. So an Indian can love nature and want to really defend nature and feel comfortable in nature, in a park, in a forest, wherever. And a European or an American can prefer to be indoors and not have childhood experiences in outdoor spaces. And that's perfectly true, and I agree with it. I did send out a survey to a lot of expats in Eindhoven, which was where my research and project took place. And it does turn out that people's experiences, of course, play a huge part in how they feel outside. And what came out of my database data was that uh, expats between the age of 17 to 24 preferred to be indoors in their free time, like watching Netflix or behind the screen. But Dutch people feel very comfortable in nature, in a park, and they're very integrated. So if the sun is out, they prefer to be outside. And they take a lunch break outside, or they'll go for a walk or a run if the weather permits that. And for an expat, going to a park is only when they go out with their friends, so they seek for a community to feel comfortable. So the feeling of being welcomed, of having a space that you belong to, is very important when you step outside. And that is exactly what I conveyed to my client who wanted to design the parks for expats. That an expat isn't going to come to a park alone, or they're not going to enter a space where they don't feel comfortable, and that can be anywhere. And that's like fundamental human nature. So, for example, tomorrow if I wear cultural clothing and enter a space that's primarily with local people in Netherlands, would there be culture? Would there be integration? And as history has said, it's not always the case. So, what can organizations eventually do to create this sort of harmony between everyone? And that's exactly what my project's about. And that's it, guys, for today. Thank you for watching. And next week, I will be taking you through the actual website that I made and the entire story. So don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Instagram, and of course check out our website, decolonizingconversations.com. Bye.